Hey, what's up everyone? Tim here from Everyday Tactical Vids, and as you saw in the title of this video, today we're going to be talking about 5 different things to consider when we're comparing folding knives and fixed blades for everyday carry. And don't worry, yes, both these knives will be put to use and you'll see them in action in this video. Let me start off and give a shout out to Smoky Mountain Knife Works, smkw.com. They sent me the Zancudo for review, and if you want to pick up the Zancudo or the Essie Azula or other Essie knives and just knives in general, I've got links down below in the description section so you can head over there and make your purchases. So again, these guys sent me the Zancudo for review. I've been EDCing it and testing it out, and then I thought to myself, hey, this thing's about the same size as the Azula, which you can actually see the Zancudo is a little bit bigger. But that got me thinking about, why do people choose folders over fixed blades for everyday carry, even if they're similar in size and such? So I want to tell you the 5 things I've been thinking about, and I really want to hear your thoughts and your comments. So in the comment section, as you're listening to the video, as you're watching the video, leave comments. You can listen to it, leave a comment, listen a little bit more, leave another comment. Go back and forth between different people who are leaving comments. I love to get the discussion started. So yeah, I want to get your feedback as the Everyday Tactical Vids community about this topic. All right, so first thing I want to talk about is size. So as I mentioned, the Zancudo is actually a little bit bigger than the Azula, but in general, the advantage of a folder is that you can basically, because the size of the blade it's generally around the same size as the handle, a little bit smaller, but you're cutting your size in half when you fold it. So this is not exactly half of the Azula, but it's definitely now smaller. So for me, I'm thinking I might like to carry a fixed blade, but I can immediately reduce the size of the knife into about half of what it was by folding it. Now, that being said, there's tons of different knives that people carry for everyday carry. So some people might carry something like this. You might carry something smaller. Some people might carry something like a Bradford Guardian, and they can get bigger and bigger. You can carry an SE3 and SE4 and SE5. I mean, you could carry whatever you want. You could carry a Hungless if you wanted to. But in general, people are looking for smaller fixed blades when they're thinking about everyday carry. And yeah, I just want to note that whether it's folders or fixed blades for everyday carry, there's a pretty huge range of what people want to carry. I guess the first thing that jumped out to me was that, though, that you can basically cut the size of your carry in about half, let's say, when you carry a folder versus a fixed blade it's the full size the whole time, obviously. All right, so the second thing I want to note is just the strength. So inevitably, because you have a folding and a locking mechanism in a folding knife, there's a chance for failure. Certainly there's a chance that you could snap a fixed blade in half, and that's a bad situation too. But in general, I think most people would agree that a folding knife is going to have more weakness than a fixed blade. Now, as soon as I say that, I know some people are going to say, what about Medford blades or Miller Brothers blades? That's true. There are certain knives that even have a pin. Let me just put the Azula down. They have a pin that you can slide in to basically make it, really, really strong, like the equivalent of a fixed blade almost. I think about the Tops Bob folder, which is made to be a big, strong, beefy knife. But compare the Tops Bob folder and the Tops fixed blade, and most people would still say a fixed blade is going to be stronger. So when it comes to size, you're going to be able to, reduce your size to about half with a folder, but with your fixed blade, you're just going to generally have more strength. So size versus strength, those are things to consider when you're thinking about this topic. All right, so let's talk about legality. There's a huge range of what the restrictions are for different states, different towns. You got to know the rules, you got to know the laws in your area. One thing to remember is that, with a fixed blade, you got to think about the size generally, and that's the main thing. With a folding blade, you need to think about the size of the blade, and also the opening action. So is it manual? Is it assisted? Is it an auto? Then you also have to think about the locking mechanism. Certain locking mechanisms, like a slip joint, are considered, less dangerous, or, I guess less dangerous, yeah, basically, than, something like a frame lock or something. So just be aware when it comes to the legality, you got to think about both sides of these things, but fixed blade is not just like, or folding blade is not just like, well, it's a folder, so I'm good. You got to think about size of the blade and then a variety of other things to consider, if it's legal in your area. All right, so the next thing to think about is concealability. So again, because it's a folding knife, I can fold it down and then slide that into my pocket, and you can see where the pocket clip is there, that's going to rest pretty deep. Now, for this, I have to slide it into a sheath. I could wear it as a neck knife. I could throw it in a pocket. I could wear it on a belt, throw a shirt over top of it. In general, between these two knives, the Zancudo is going to be easier to conceal because it's a little bit smaller, and also just the color of this, and then the size, obviously, as well. But that being said, in particular, I find scout style carry I don't think I've ever carried Scout style and had someone be like, hey, what's that? Versus people can see a pocket clip, in my front right or front left pocket, depending on how I'm carrying the folding blade. So one advantage of a fixed blade is that with a folding knife, you're going to have usually the pocket clip on the outside of your pocket and then a little bit of the knife exposed. As compared to a fixed blade, you can throw the whole thing into a pocket, underneath your shirt, whatever it is, and it's totally concealed. So that goes back to some of the legal issues you got to think about. But for concealability, there's probably give and take for each one to think about. Now, tied into the idea of how concealable the knife is, you also want to think about what I call SKS, Scary Knife Syndrome, which is how scared will people feel of the knife. Now, are people generally more scared of fixed blades versus folders? I mean, I guess it depends on the knife, right? So where I live in New Hampshire, a lot of people carry a small fixed blade because they do a lot of hunting, especially in the fall and the winter, right? So you got to think about what the knife looks like. So I generally find a knife that's all black and looks more tactical is more intimidating than something that looks like a classic hunting knife. I also find that knives that have a lot of sweep to the blade freak people out more. So if you got something that has like a Persian style blade, or even like, I think it's the Buck 119 that's got the clip and it just has, it's a kind of a bright silver steel to the average person, and then it's got that clip and that sweep on the front of the blade. It just seems to freak people out more. So think about Scary Knife Syndrome when you're carrying your fixed blade versus your folders and how people might respond. Last thing I just want to talk about is how quick or easy it is to draw out the knife. So in general, when I have this in a sheath, it's just like, boom, give it a good tug, and now it's out of the sheath, versus taking this knife out of the pocket and then opening it. I don't think it's a huge difference in the speed of deployment, but what I will say is that wearing a sheath can just be a bit clumsier than keeping this in your pocket. Now, I'm going to say that, and some people are going to say, oh, I carry it, over my, like an appendix carry almost, or I carry it Scout style. Yeah, I think there's always exceptions to the rule, but in general, I find, just throwing it in my pocket is easier. One thing I can tell you is that if I have to carry a bunch of things, I don't want to have, a pen, a flashlight, chapstick, a wallet, and a knife in my front right pocket. If I've got, a phone in the other pocket, a wallet in the other pocket. So one thing I do appreciate about carrying a fixed blade for everyday carry is that you can do that. And, if I've got it Scout style, I've got an appendix, whatever, it's not taking up space that I want to put other things. I'm not going to put anything else on my belt like I would carry a fixed blade. So that's, again, something to think about, something to consider. And again, I'm really interested to hear what you guys have to say about this topic. So leave comments down below about that topic as well, how you're carrying the knife, and then how easy it is to draw the knife out. So as I close here, I want to let you know at the end of this video, there's a couple links. One is to a video I did on Benchmade fixed blades and why people seem to not purchase them or not buy them as much as they do the folding blades. Obviously, Benchmade has more folding blades, but the Benchmade fixed blades that I've used, I've really liked. I'm just wondering why do more people not like them or talk about them? So that's one thing. The other thing is I'm going to put the link to the Scary Knife Syndrome video that I made a while ago. And yeah, I've just talked, I kind of talk about in the picture, I've got a ZT knife, and I'm like on the in the JPEG, or what I call it, the thumbnail that you'll see. But, it's just asking the question basically, why are people scared of knives? Here are some thoughts on that. So I'd love to hear your comments in this video and in those two videos as well. They're more discussion videos as opposed to straight up reviews of products. All right, guys, those are my thoughts. Let's hear your thoughts in the comments down below. Like I've said before, hear those other two videos I was just talking about. And thanks as always for watching the videos here on YouTube. Please subscribe to Everyday Tactical Vids if you haven't done so already. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, check us out on Instagram, Tumblr, and Vero as well. More videos coming soon. Take care.